He told me he was.
Pretty blessed.
Thanks, Howard. Nathan, are we on? 6 o'clock, we'll call the county commissioner meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on our agenda, or third on our agenda, is the board organization for president and vice president.
I'll make a motion to keep the president, vice president the same as what it is.
I'll second that. So we have a motion for Don Street to be president and a motion to have Mike McClure as vice president. We'll vote on those separately. Those in, the motion was for Don Street to be president. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Second motion was for Mike McClure to be vice president. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next are our minutes. We have before us, or has been presented to us, the December 15th commissioner meeting minutes, the December 22nd executive session meeting minutes, and December 22nd spatial commissioner meeting minutes. We have a motion to accept those for comments.
I will make a motion to accept the 12/22 executive session meeting minutes, and I will make a motion to approve the minutes from 12/15, the commissioner meeting minutes, provided the change will be made that I pointed out.
Yes, and I've emailed updated language to Teresa. It just clarifies an answer I had provided about land in the solar project within the fence line versus under panels as opposed to inside and outside of the fence line.
She does the correct
Yep.
language on that.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion to approve both of those.
Okay, as well as the
Oh,
22nd.
The 22nd special commissioner meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to approve the December 15th commissioner meeting, the executive session from the 22nd, and the spatial commissioner meeting from the 22nd, with the understanding that the adjustment will be made in the 15th minutes, which Nathan stated that he has given to Teresa. So any further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next, the approval and sign. We have been presented the claims and payroll number 26 to end out 25 and payroll number 1 for 2026. So the motion,
I'll make a motion to approve claims and payroll 26, as well as payroll number 1.
I'll second that motion.
we have a motion and a second to approve the claims of payroll number 26 and payroll number 21. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next, we have appointments to KIRPC. I believe that in the past, we've nominated, the commissioners have had Nathan represent, as well as Mike McClure representing KIRPC. I'll make a motion to appoint Nathan as well as Mike.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve Nathan and Mike to represent Pulaski County and KIRPC. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed. Next, we have 4 bonds before us for the coroner, the sheriff, blanket position bond, and a building and zone bond for the individuals there listed. I will ask Teresa, is it next year, is it possible to put them all together?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No reason to apologize. Thank you. So we have a motion to accept the bonds or to approve the bonds.
I'll make a motion to approve all 4 bonds.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 4 bonds as listed for the coroner, sheriff, blanket position bond, and building and zone. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next, we have performance services. Performance services is a company that will come in and take a look at an existing facility. In our case, we're looking at the west-annex, which has been mentioned before, and renovating that in an attempt to make it more up-to-date and standard for the coroner in there, as well as the EMA, and possibly bringing over the extension, Purdue Extension, as well as the health department. And I think that would be beneficial for us to renovate the west annex and then eventually move on and sell to somebody the east annex to alleviate that, and it would also consolidate our departments. So this would just be simply acknowledging that we'll work with performance services. It doesn't commit us to anything in the future other than working with them to see what they could possibly do for us in renovating the west annex. Any thoughts?
I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I'll make a motion to accept performance services.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to work with performance services with the potential of renovating the west annex. Any further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next, we have a conference request to the assessor's office to Indianapolis, January 18th through the 23rd. We have a motion to accept this conference request.
I'll make a motion to accept the conference request for the assessor's office.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the conference request for the assessor's office. Any discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Natasha, the purchase of possibility of a sheriff's vehicle.
Good evening. The Sheriff's Department is retiring 2 vehicles this year, and I would like to acquire one of the vehicles as an E.M.S. ALS chase. What that would be is a vehicle that we can utilize for fairs, different educational opportunities without actually having to use a full-size ambulance. We would not be transporting patients in it. However, we would be able to carry the supplies necessary to do the initial treatments on the patient with the ambulance then arriving after. This would come in handy if we have multiple calls going on at the same time and both ambulances are being utilized and/or they need an additional assistant on the scene for care of the patient. It is in the expenditure of $9,500. The vehicle in question is a 2017 truck, and it was formerly used by former Sheriff Richwine.
How many miles are on this vehicle?
It's close to the 171,000 that we discussed. I guess there was a little bit of confusion which vehicle was which and how many miles were on it, but they're very close, the 2018 and the 2017.
You haven't looked at it, Natasha.
From my understanding, it just came back. The sheriff can probably elaborate more.
Has anyone looked at it? Would it be
We have a
suitable?
service regularly. This was, as Tasha said, this was Jeff's old vehicle, which meant it was pretty well babied. We had a 17 and 18. We always like offering them to the other county departments first at a reduced price. The radios, most of the red lights and everything are going to stay in it. That way she won't have to go through that expense. So, she won't have that. We just had a couple quotes from Move Over Outfitters for our vehicles. That's 16 grand a piece. So that's quite a considerable savings for her. If she has any problems with it, she can come to us with it. So, these are all highway, They're both in good shape. The other one went to the county highway at a reduced price also. So we'll treat her right. So I feel like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we offered it to her. She said she wanted a vehicle. So, I'd like for her to have it, at a reduced price.
Very good. Recycling has also expressed a need for another vehicle, another
Exactly,
truck,
yes.
So.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. And like I said, that one runs good and it was treated well. And we had them the oil changed every 5,000 miles in them. So
Yeah. Very good.
she knows where to go in case she has any problems with it.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay?
Natasha, did you say 9,500, was that good?
9,500, yes.
And where will this vehicle be?
It will typically be with me as my primary vehicle for the county. So I do not have a vehicle that I utilize as a department head, and I do have a duty to respond as needed. So if I'm activated right now, I have to take my personal vehicle, which I have to obey all traffic laws. There are no lights, and I'm not allowed to have any supplies. So from my house to the station, if we have a spare ambulance, then I go to scene, is what the current process is. Whereas if it is a chase available, that would be with me at all times. I could be activated at any moment, as well as the staff can use it at any time that it's requested.
So for you to answer a call, I mean, this doesn't mean you're going to be going to every call that comes through.
Correct.
You have to be, you're activated or asked to come to this. I'm just wondering how do we avoid multiple vehicles at a site if we don't need multiple vehicles?
Typically, most of our care is done ALS on both sides. We have 2 ambulances that are in service at all times. They're both ALS. This would be an instance that we're overwhelmed. I could go to a scene and start triaging, caring for the patient. Everything that's essentially in an ambulance, minus a few supplies, will be on this unit. The cardiac monitor, you can do a full arrest. You just can't transport. So then the ambulance would then come to the scene and or mutual aid as necessary.
So this unit is not used for transport now.
No patients are allowed to be in it.
I'll make a motion to let the transfer from the sheriff's office to the E.M.S. office and the Dodge pickup.
With that motion, Mike, I do believe the county council has to approve that as well. So you might want to add pending council.
Pending council approval.
All
I'll
right,
second the motion.
very good. We have a motion and a second to approve the transfer, the purchase pending county council approval. Any further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Thank you. You have
Thank you.
anything else?
I think that's it from me.
All right, while you're there with E.M.S., the survey, the contract for the survey, Jacob has worked with Heartland, correct?
Yep.
You have any updates with that?
Yes, I received Natasha's emails with her comments. Everything was sent to Ken last week for his review. I haven't received a response back from him, but it's basically with them to review to see if they have any changes. Essentially what I did is I added the language. I removed the hospital as a party to the contract so that it was between our department, Heartland, directly, and then included the language about non-disclosure language as far as the bid amounts and not competing bids language. That was bold, and I think the 3 of you received that, so I don't know if anybody has any corrections. The formatting is that I used the old contract, and so I'm assuming it was an old Word document issue, but everything has been sent to Heartland, and I'm just waiting for a response. So,
They did receive it. You
yes,
have confirmation they received it?
yeah, and in fact, I can't remember who it was that responded. It might have been you, Natasha, or somebody had said, Ken, can you please review this? I can't remember who it was, but yes, I sent an email and it didn't come back as undeliverable. So I'm happy to, I can send an email to Ken tonight to just get a status update as to if they have concerns.
And the hospital is still paying the
Yes.
$10,000, but they're going to pay it to the county?
As a donation.
The county pays Heartland then, which is the proper way, I think, with this situation.
It'll come out as a claim, so I'll go before the council, ask it to be appropriated to our funds, and then from there, it'll come in as a claim that we'll pay.
Very good.
And I'll CC you on the email to Ken, so if he responds, you can see the response.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
VS updates. They had taken 2 weeks off for most construction, so VS is not going to be appearing tonight with an update. Any comments or items?
I do have an update, I guess, for you all, because in Tim's email to me, well, I think to all of you, and I was included on, there was some discussion about the attorneys talking about whether E.M.S was going to continue to pay fines up through December. I called Attorney Shellman today and asked him point blank what their stance was. He today indicated on the phone to me that they are not saying they will not pay invoices. What he is asking, and if we need to set this up, I'd have to look at the statute to make sure it falls under statutory authority for an executive session. It may not be a bad idea to do one for the purpose of discussing alternative payment. So I think what they're going to ask, and I think it's under 3.5 of the road use, there's language in there about designated road use. And I think their proposal is, rather than paying fines, contributing additional money for law enforcement purposes. This may be an auditor question, but my initial thought to that is, well, we could pay for additional law enforcement out of the funds from the fines that are generated, unless there's some restriction that I'm unaware of. But they would ask for us to have a conversation about that, but they told me they are going to continue paying fines for the time being and are not stating that they're going to stop paying. So I did ask them point blank that today. That was the response I got from Attorney Shellman.
And I would agree, probably Don and Mike, an executive session is going to be needed to hammer all this out before it gets too far down the road.
Yeah. If the fines, from my perspective, is a deterrent to make sure that people are following the road use agreement. And failure to pay the fine, how we see fit, and how we failure to pay the fines, to me, is breaking the contract.
I mean, to me, I personally think that it's cleaner for the county, it's cleaner under the road use agreement to require to just move forward with the fine procedure, and then the county can spend the funds as they see fit to address law enforcement or other needs out there. To me, I don't know that the developer necessarily gets to say, well, we'll pay fines if we feel like it, you know? And so to me, I think they have a contractual obligation, but they do want to have a conversation about if we can reach some sort of a compromise to address the law enforcement expense.
So in one of our last meetings, they had agreed to pay additional law enforcement. There was no stipulation at that point that they were going to cease paying fines. We should still be collecting. I mean, they made the statement that they will provide more for law enforcement. I don't think we just let the rest go in lieu of that.
Yeah, my suggestion would be that we schedule an executive session for that purpose. And I don't have the statute in front of me, but my memory is I believe there is a subsection that would make this a permissible executive session due to the ongoing public works project and everything else. So I would suggest we get something scheduled.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for that.
Is there anything else on that now?
You printed it out.
Oh, I did, yeah. Well, they also talked about the contract with VS, that they will continue to fulfill. I think they're going to add to it to bring it up to 625,000 for the, they stated, or Tim stated, for the remainder of the solar compliance contract. So my only confusion, I don't recall, he sent me back, I don't know if he spoke to that, is there an end date to this where they're not going to provide any more payment for solar compliance? I don't know what the solar compliance contract, if there was an end date on it. Does anybody recall?
I'm not aware of one. I don't.
Okay, that's the only language that concerned me in regards to the end of the contract.
I thought the contract was with the county. This was done before you and I took office, but with the county and BS. And I don't know for sure, but I do not believe there's anything in writing that they were actually going to pay for that. They being the company, the developer. So that's something, yeah, but that's something we talked about for the future, that it needs to be in there. Anything else you could see there, Jenny?
They talked about the modification to the vegetation buffer that we've all been discussing, what was in it. Carla as building inspector, and all of us have discussed that we wanted something a little different than that. It appears that the attorney is still reviewing how they can do that. So that's still, sounds like it's still being worked out.
Yes, and I did have, in my last meeting with Mr. Shulman, they kind of went over their stance on this issue. And I did receive an email today from Carla, kind of her thoughts, and so it's still in progress, and that's something that we may be able to kill two birds with one stone, when we discuss the fines.
Very good.
Thank you. That's all I have on.
Hey, thank you, Jenny, for bringing that. Under discussion items, we have Laura Wheeler, a conflict of interest statement.
Every year she files a conflict of interest statement because she also works for the Star City Sewer District. So she files a conflict of interest statement, just to keep things straight.
Very good. I'll make a motion to approve the conflict of interest statement for Laura Wheeler.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. IT position hire. We have interviewed two different occasions, and this last, during December, we interviewed and we extended an offer to Tabor Brown, who works for rowing. There is a conflict, or not there is a conflict. There's a no compete clause, and we asked Tabor to get a waiver from rowing about dismissing the non-compete clause. Do you know if that's been done?
I haven't seen it.
So Tabor brings a lot to us because he has a great experience in Pulaski County. So I would make a motion to approve Tabor Brown as our IT position, pending the document from rowing to dismiss or cancel out the non-compete clause, which they verbally have said that they would do. So that would be my motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Discussion? You like him? Very knowledgeable. So we have a motion and a second to approve Tabor Brown pending the dismissal or the cancellation of the non-compete clause with rowing. So those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed.
Don, I'm not comfortable with his commentary about past baseball umpires.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was a baseball umpire.
Well, Nathan, I think you need to pick up your game as a baseball umpire according to his life. That was good. So response to Hannah Anderson's public comment. Hannah, Ms. Anderson provided some public comment during our special meeting to approve claims on December the 22nd, 2025. Our auditor did some investigation into a document that she did share with us, that Ms. Anderson did present. So, Teresa, sorry.
You're fine. So what I had found, she had talked about, and I highlighted several things in her paperwork she gave us, because she gave us a copy of it, which was great. She had talked about how the clerk's office had spent $16,500 in office supplies, and that there was some money going out in postage, which, I mean, of course, we have postage, that's just common. Talks about stationery supplies, over $25,000. what kind of throwed me off was when the paperwork that she gave us said 35,000 for an Alzheimer's center, and she's asking, where's this Alzheimer's center? And I'm thinking, yeah, I'd like to know too. Well, and unfortunately, with my experience with the county, especially in the treasurer's office, we would have people calling and saying, you know, I'm looking up for this property and I'm not finding it. And so we, long story short, come to find out it's a different Pulaski County. So unfortunately, several of these figures that she's got here, she's got that we have a $48 million budget for this year, which we do not. It's high enough. I'm not saying that it's not, because it's 26 million, but unfortunately, this is Pulaski County, Kentucky. And I mean, if anybody wants to come in my office and see, I printed out the stuff from the website that coincides with her figures. They've got a very nice budget, but.
Yeah, they're also like 4 or 5 times our size.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's right on the river.
Oh, is it? Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know
on
for
the
sure where it was,
Ohio,
but.
where Ohio and Mississippi runs together.
It's on the Lake Cumberland as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
so,
know exactly what
I mean,
it
some
is.
of her stuff does talk about our courthouse and different things, which unfortunately we know there is some issues and some other stuff, but unfortunately, a lot of this money that she talks about for supplies and 195,000 for gas for our courthouse. Oh my. And it's in this, I printed out the thing from Pulaski County, Kentucky, and it's in there. So I welcome her to come in and look, because I can explain to her, show her where I found it in this. So, and we definitely, Jolinda has not spent $16,500. She spent $360 last year on envelopes, but that's because it has to say Pulaski County Clerk on it. But unfortunately, that's what I found with her stuff, with some of the figures she's got here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other items for discussion with the commissioners? Being none, is there any public comment? If so, we ask that you please come forward, speak into the mic, state your name, residence, and please limit your comments to 2 minutes and only speak once, please. Thank you.
So I'm sure you guys got my email. I'm Sherry Fagner. I'm from Winnemac here. My mother and my brother own property on 500 West, 100 North. For the second documented time, not the actual second time, but for the second documented time, we've had solar employees that have trespassed on our property deliberately. It's not been accidental. It's not been anything other than true disregard. There was a vehicle that did not want to wait on Town and Country's road grader, drove directly from one end of the field completely to the other end of the field. Like, not just on the side of the road. We've got pictures. We did ask the sheriff's department to come out and look at that. We were not aware that it happened. We were contacted by Brian Anderson, who works for Alaska Power at the laydown yard. He's very well aware that people have done this in the past. I'm here to tell you, as commissioners, this is not acceptable. We did not ask for the intrusion on our property. We did not ask for solar to come to this county. I'm not against solar. I'm not anti-solar. I'm anti-solar intrusion on public that it has no being. And I will tell you, it is not fair to the residents of this county that we sit here and we have to take what's given to us because we don't have a backbone as a county to stand up to this. And, you know, I'm not trying to get crappy, but I will tell you, we went out, we talked to these employees, we took the sheriff's department with us because, you know, God forbid that something is not documented solely. Absolutely no regard. No regard. We can't do anything about it. We don't know who it was. Well, I can tell you if they did a little bit of digging, they could find out who it was. They only knew because Town and Country reported it to Alaska Power and said, hey, to Brian Anderson and said, hey, listen, you're this employee, clearly, he asked them, what are you doing? He didn't want to wait. He didn't want to wait on the road grader. I call the bullshit card on that. As a county, we need to be better than this. And I don't know what it takes for us to have to say, this is not acceptable. I can tell you, if there's property damage done, we'll be coming to the county for some, we'll hold the county accountable for that as well. Because right now it's negligence. What have we actually done to say this is not acceptable? The county brought this project to our county. We need to hold them accountable. I did get a response from Doral. We did give them an official letter and said, you're not welcome on our property. I don't feel like we should have to do that, but we've been nice. Nice is not getting the job done. This guy was very cordial to me. I'm not gonna lie, he was very nice. But I told him, and he thanked me for being nice to him. That's great. That's great. He's like, but unfortunately, that's not usually the case. They shouldn't have to have the case. I'm sorry. Dawn, what would you do if I drove my vehicle and sat out on the football field at your school? There would be repercussions to that. Mike, you wouldn't let me come to your property and just sit. If I'm not asked on your property, I shouldn't be there, just as well as any other project should not be on private property without asking them to be there.
And Sherry, the same things happen.
Oh, absolutely.
With semis pulling in and tearing my yard. I did ask at a construction meeting for signage. Do not enter, private property. I do believe that is something that we can easily ask them to provide, as well as, because you have given them a letter, signage that says violators will be prosecuted. Cameras, can we ask for?
Yes, we talked about that, or through text message today. And Sherry, I'm not meaning to interrupt you. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I took your email and I forwarded it to Tim from VS, which you might have already
Yes,
done.
and we did send it to him as well.
And I also forwarded it to Jacob, informed Jacob of that. And then I also sent it to Casey Riley, who's really the only Alaska person I've had contact with. He said he was looking into that. Trivial, when did that happen?
It happened on, I believe, December 22nd, because we went and visited them on the 23rd.
Okay.
Like, we literally took the sheriff's department, my brother and I went, and I will tell you, this is what I told Mitchell Short, whose name they gave me to talk to. Their people are well-trained. They had no response, absolutely no response. They couldn't acknowledge that something happened. They went through all the HR training. That's what I can tell you. There was no regard to what was being said. The one thing we did bring up to them is, they're like, well, did you get a number on the vehicle? Those vehicles are not numbered. They are not numbered. There's no opportunity to get a license plate number because they are filthy. I drove the road today. I had to go to the car wash. My car was the color of your table. It's ridiculous. And that's not even the gravel roads, because the gravel roads are still froze.
And the other thing that concerns me, and I know I've mentioned this before, if you're a participating property owner in the projects, that's one thing. But to be told that, well, if they trespass on your property, you can file a suit against them. Why should a non-participating property owner have to pay legal fees to defend themselves against something like this? I truly do not believe that is fair. Many of us are going to likely suffer property value loss. On top of that, you want us to defend ourselves in a court of law and pay attorneys $300 an hour to do it? It's not right. So we do need to be taking, and I know we've discussed it some, every possible proactive approach to this, to let them know that we as commissioners are going to take this seriously, and they have to be held accountable. Because unfortunately, my experience has been worse. when I made comments, this is what I saw. No, that's not what you saw, because that's not possible, because when they left the yard, this is what it looked, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
You're not gonna win against it. It is very unfair to the property owners in Pulaski County to have to battle with companies that we as private individuals are never going to win
Nope.
against a multitude of attorneys, and it's very unfair.
But I will tell you, this is something this county brought here. It was not something that, every property owner in the county asked for. We had to sign documents to bring them here. We need to hold them accountable to their jobs. And that is safety and stay the heck off of private property. I mean, I hate to say it, but
Is there anything else, Sherry, besides additional signage for your property, additional cameras for your property that you feel would be beneficial?
we're not asking for them to do anything other than stay the heck off. I mean, that shouldn't be put up a fence. That shouldn't be anything other than we've posted signs. There was a sign at each end of the driveway this gentleman drove through.
Now that you mention it though, we've had another property owner who has had to say, I want stakes put up to keep you off.
Oh, they offered to put stakes up. I'm telling you, that's not something we want. Because for the love of God, we should not have to change our property to appease a company that can't obey the rules. I mean,
But
there is no but. And I'm not trying to argue, but there is no but. We would be in dire straits if we did that to them. I asked this Mitchell Short point blank, what are you going to do if I drive my car and go sit in your solar field? What are you going to do if I go sit on the edge of your property and just sit there? That's what they've done to us.
Did you turn it over to the prosecutor?
There is nothing that the sheriff's department can do. There's nothing. You have to have it filed, and I will tell you, that's not something that's possible. And that is what sucks about all of this. Like Jenny said, they get away with what they can get away with. And until we as a county hold them accountable for that, it won't stop. And I know my time is up.
Thank you, Sherry. Jacob, is there something that you can look into that could help people out?
Yeah.
Have you had?
I think the difficulty in this, and I'm sure the sheriff has probably thought about this too, is that normally if you're a property owner and you give someone notice that they're on your property and they need to leave, and when they come back, you can charge them from the trespass.
So can I finish that statement?
I would say it's a little different, it's a little more complicated when you're dealing with an organization, because they can have one employee who could go on there and then another employee go on and say, I don't know anything. That's the.
We gave them notice.
Oh, I.
They will not acknowledge that they got it.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you gave them notice. I'm saying.
We give them
that
written notice. They won't acknowledge they have it.
Organization, it's more difficult because if I go on your property and you say get off and I come back, I'm going to jail for criminal trespass.
Absolutely.
But if you have a company that has hundreds of employees, it gets a little messy because somebody else goes, oh, I didn't know anything about you. I'm just thinking from a criminal defense lawyer standpoint, that's the issue you run into.
when you say, Sherry, they didn't acknowledge it, what do you mean? You sent a letter?
We asked them to sign it. They couldn't touch it. We sent them an email copy and asked them to acknowledge that they got it. Yes, I got a response to the email it was attached to, but there was no acknowledgement that they got the letter. They just said, we hope it doesn't happen again.
And I'm happy to do a little research because I know you can definitely trespass warrant a person. I've never dealt with a situation where you trespass warrant a company. I don't know if you can do that or not.
Yeah, that's the problem that we had.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And she's exactly right, because I was gone that evening that they called. It was December 22nd. I sent an officer out there in the situation. Everything she said is exactly right. I went out there the next day. There was tracks completely. I own property out there completely up. The entire property. She's right. It's not right. But it's hard to trespass a whole company. Now, I told my officers if they get an individual out there and they told them to arrest them, let the prosecutor's office figure it out. We're all tired of getting complaints, and we're going to address the complaints when we get them. I've had them on I get tracks across all the time. If I knew who it was, they'd be getting the same thing. They have this because of construction going on down there right now.
I think it's.
They couldn't identify
who.
who. What's that?
I said, it's the fact that you're dealing with a corporate entity that adds the wrinkles.
They wouldn't accept the letter. My officer went there with her, and she was very nice. She wasn't out of line. I would ask my officer today when I got that email. Sherry was very nice to him, and they wouldn't acknowledge getting a letter. We have to tell an individual they can't be on the property. And then if they go back, they're going to do it again. Now, when I told Jason, her brother, I said, post it.
It's
It's
posted.
posted. He did. He went out there the same night and posted it. It's posted now.
It's been posted for months.
Yeah, it has. So if we get any more from then on, I told them arrest them for it. If the people on there, you can identify who they are, arrest them for it, and let the prosecutor figure it out. That's the way we're going to do it.
And I guess-
She has a real problem out there with them being on the property. What's that?
Probably not a bad idea to do it that way.
I don't know what else to do, but she was right. There was tracks all the way
If
up the
nothing else,
property.
it'll send a message that,
What's that?
if nothing else, it'll send a message that you're gonna do something about it.
Well, the problem is you're gonna have homeowners, property owners like myself.
Yeah, I went out there the day when you had damage on your property. Yes.
Exactly. And when they do it repeatedly, you're going to have homeowners who are going to walk out with a gun and say.
The problem is-
"How many times do I have to tell you?"
The problem is we have
You're
thousands of vehicles out there and we can't identify who it was. And she's exactly right. These vehicles are so corroded, they're so dirty, we can't get a plate number off of them.
But what I'm gonna say is, I would ask that everyone show a little more grace to the homeowners who are being violated.
Yeah.
Homeowners should not be the ones who should be in trouble or getting angry when someone comes on their property repeatedly.
Yeah.
And that's
Get a
my
plate
fear
number for us.
of What's gonna happen.
Identify the driver, get a plate number for us, get the name of the company, whatever you can do. So it's tough. I know it is. It's extremely tough because I've tried myself. I get tracks across mine daily. I'm on a main thoroughfare, and it makes me upset too. But get it, if you can, get up next to them and get us a plate number if you can, something.
Because the problem
Take a
is,
picture of the driver.
they're gonna make a beeline.
Oh, I know.
You're not allowed to go.
I know.
And I've been banned from
Yeah.
going.
But Sherry's right. I want to acknowledge she was right about that. They did drive across her property and I sent an officer out there right away. I'd have went out there, but I was out of town that night. So she's right. So.
Jimmy, we did talk to, at the laydown yard about marking those vehicles on the side so you can see them clearly. Any other vehicle that you go with, any company is clearly marked. They did acknowledge that in the letter, that was something they were gonna look at, so I would relate to that.
Okay, that would be a discussion.
It'd be a good
We
item
have
to
to
put,
be able to identify.
it'd be a good item to put into the next
To
road use
require
agreement.
a vehicle number or something like that, some sort of
Add that to the-
conspicuous identification.
add that to the list.
Yeah.
I want to write that down.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you.
No problem.
First of all, I challenge any of you set in this city to get out that door. We will make it cheap this week. Which means we're not going to come to the VA. I don't know why it took place. I really don't care why some of this is taking place. Right over there is a case that was in federal court. The elevator. They put in, and the argument was about ADA. They even paid the plaintiff's lawyer fees. It's not a question of whether the state fire marshal approves all of this or not. It's federal Department of Justice, ADA. And apparently the only way to make it happen is a federal lawsuit. My opinion is you're within a short time of having a federal lawsuit. The problem is it's so easy to fix without very little cost. It's just making up your minds that you're going to fix it. Not study it, fix it. You can mitigate part of it out tonight. Any of you want to try to get out that door with this?
We all know the answer to that, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
He has not done his formal assessment of this building yet, but the county's ADA consultant has been in this room. And he has pointed out that this exit and this exit are compliant. And law requires 60% of the exits in a room to be accessible. 2 out of 3 is 66.67%.
Nathan, the problem is that is marked as an exit, and it is not correct.
It is an exit, it is not marked as an ADA accessible exit. It is an exit though.
Nathan, is the company, are they coming back to finish out the punch list?
Punch list is done.
I'm sorry.
Punch list is done. If we want them to remove that, I'm sure we can.
I think that's probably,
Yeah.
I mean, just sitting here looking at that, I would anticipate that I could get out that door. And so probably that.
Did ask us to do that, we would appreciate that.
According to the consultants, because these 2 doors are accessible, this room is compliant.
Thank you.
This one here? My name's Dalton Rogers. I live on 500 West off 14. So I'm neighbors with Sherry Fagner here. Well, her brother Jason and her mother. So those semis, they come down that no solar road quite often. I would say daily. I'm not home every single day, but when I'm there, I see them. I don't just see them, I literally feel them. When they come by our house is probably 10 yards from the road on a hill. I literally feel the house shake. So that brings me to, you guys have copies of their insurance, is that correct?
I'm sure they do. I don't have that, but I'm sure they know.
Do any of you?
So,
I'd have to look into it. I'm not.
So there could be insurance claims being made for private nuisance that has not really been talked about or touched or looked into. So I think if you could make their insurance policy public, we could potentially make some claims towards their insurance about some of these instances. In order to make those claims, we do need quite a bit of evidence. We need video proof. Your company that is the middleman or the overseer has put a trail cam on a stop sign. So that's what's watching that specific intersection is a trail cam. And it's just on one side of the road. So you just see the front side of the vehicle coming here. You won't be able to see the license plate at all on the trail cam. I don't know how much you're paying them, but I would hope for a little more comprehensive overwatch on the project. But ultimately, if we could get a copy of their insurance made public so that we could potentially make some claims on some of these instances, that'd be appreciated. Yeah.
Good evening, Gail Lambert, Rich Grove Township. I've got 2 requests that I would like to make. The first one is that no disclosure agreements not be signed with any companies that ask for them. If they come, they want to do business with Pulaski County and they ask for a DNA, that they be told no, that we're going to be public and above board with dealings with them. The second request I have is that when agreements are written with solar companies, specifically the road agreements, drainage agreements, any agreements like that, that they be written, set aside, gone back, reread, gone over word by word, phrase by phrase, with fine-tooth comb, that there be no gray areas. We have gray areas, we have issues now with the agreements that we have. Excuse me. So with the new set of agreements that are being done, we've got to do a better job on what's being written. So we can't have the company come back and dispute whether it's fences or landscaping, drainage, the roads that are going to be used, just please, let's just really, really fine tune it, take our time, not rush it through, and make sure that we've got good agreements. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Chris Brooker, Winnemac. Would we kindly think about and start discussing reinstating our 84 ordinances that were taken from us? I know you mentioned you would like Carla to start scheduling meetings for moratoriums that are put in place, so we have strong ordinances for anything that may be coming with data center or battery, and can someone please check with her to see if she's following, a schedule, if those are set, because I haven't seen that anywhere. I know it's January, it's the new year, but those take time and should take time to be read. But I've only heard that people have spent a lot of time on those ordinances and they were for our protection and now they're gone. And I just don't understand why they just can't be reinstated. Like, here, we're going to reinstate those 84 ordinances. Everything was fine, like put them back in play. I've heard some of my neighbors around the corner. I am the homeowner that went down and requested the stakes be put up because the semis were running across the property and getting closer and closer to an electric pole. And I worried about losing power. And with the weather, you don't know how long it's going to take to put that back up. So they kindly did that. And they even had to come back and put some different pylons over those because they kept running over the stakes. So it seemed to have worked, but they also have been off for the last 2 weeks. And oh my goodness, was that a pleasant 2 weeks. So, but the 84 ordinances would be like really nice to start the year off. And I think that maybe that would help bridge some of this anger, because maybe new year we can start working towards getting along. It would be kind of nice. So, yeah. My daughter had good things to say about you, Mr. McClure, but I think you learned from her. She's not a fan either. She's not a fan either, and you told her not to worry about solar coming down to Indian Creek. You might want to look because Cashmere Solar LLC has ground signed up.
We live in Van Buren.
Excuse me?
We live in Van Buren.
Well, she lives, yeah, but I'm just saying it's down the road. It's down the road. They have acres signed up. And I don't know anything about them, but she's worried too. And I begged my daughter to move back here. And I would like them to stay. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. Brandy Larkin, Winnemac, Indiana. I'm asking for a bit of clarification and just want to expound on why I'm asking for the clarification is significantly based on the comments that we've heard here this evening, along with what we've heard the past 2 years from the Sheriff's Department. I raised my eyebrows a little bit this evening when there was comment made that the solar company wanted to provide additional support for the law enforcement rather than pay the fines. And I appreciate that two of you showed concern with that versus paying the fines. That is respected. But this law enforcement is needed because of the disturbances and the unruly behavior, such as what was just shared this evening, in addition to the additional general traffic violations. So the time that the sheriffs have to go out and accompany people or review the accidents or take statements, those aren't things that are per se covered by these additional hourly fees that the solar is paying. Is that understanding correct? Those hours are for monitoring the roadways during the times of high traffic? Do I understand that correctly?
They are out there doing that, monitoring during those hours. I'm assuming that would also pay for the time, yeah.
So I think my right, so my ask is that we get some clarification on that, because my understanding is those are for additional patrol on those highly traveled areas, but we have significant strains on those resources beyond just the patrolling of it, as we see across multiple departments, the building department, the assessor's department, like multiple of our county offices. So I'm not singling one out. It just happens to be one that was shared tonight. And so I respect that you weren't in immediate agreement to that, and would ask that you uphold that when we talk with them, because it's not just simply patrolling those roadways. We have a lot of strained resources, and I, as a citizen, am concerned about the weight of that across county departments.
What we also did, Brandy, if you recall, the building inspector came to us with the BZA and recommended that we increase the amount of money that a company pays for a permit. And that was a significant increase, but talking with Jacob, felt like it was fair, so we did increase that to bring in some more money that could be allocated. I'm just sharing that, not saying it is, but we've increased the fees for any future projects as well.
I do appreciate that. And one more point of clarification as I'm trying to come up on this. We had at one point reduced them to it was a near nothing. And then we had almost cut them, and then we reinstated one, and then you guys had been working toward increasing them even more, correct?
We did that early in the 25 year, whenever
That was one of the first Q1 activities, right? Okay. Well,
it was approved by us, and it's in effect for any future permits.
I think this would be one of those things, and I will just briefly share. I did start working on a drafted risk log to turn over to you, just from the sessions that I've been to and the information that I've had, so that you wouldn't have to start from scratch. But the fines, the level of the fines, and like the thresholds for them, and the impact of these projects on county resources might be something that we want to encompass in these things as we're working forward with people. I don't know how we would log that. I think a lot of it isn't logged. It's not like somebody does an audit of your hours and says, this many was toward solar, this many was toward taxpayer, this many, but I do understand from what I've heard that there's significant restraints. So as a community member, hearing that they wanted to use that toward law enforcement, I think myself and many of us would be, as two of you represent or expressed tonight, greatly opposed to that, because I still don't know that it would quite cover it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say thank you again for the approval on the chase. At this time, it is 6:57. One of our crews was dispatched out at 6:48 and the second dispatched out at 6:53. So this would be an instance when it could be utilized.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else this time? Being none, we'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed.